Grand Rising loves. Happy Friday. Friday is the day ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of abundance. Not only when people think of Venus, they always think love and romance. And she does rule love and romance, but she also rules finances. So it's the abundance of all aspects. And so it's also the opulence of life. So feel into that energy for yourself today. And like I said, knowing your own natal chart is a great life hack. Where is Venus in your chart? How does Venus behave in your natal chart, in your aspect of you? Because every bit of us is all fractionated as a whole. And so the more we know, the more we can integrate and evolve and then understand and overstand. And so we can never truly know everything, but all of those things are tools to help make the human experience less effort. And so when you become aligned and things start flowing, that makes the human experience enjoyable. And really, that's why we keep coming back, right? Because of the sensual nature of being human. And so if we can understand more aspects of it, we can choose the pleasurable parts and move into that with more ease and understanding. So Friday, happy Venus Day. So the sacred geometry that showed up for today is high tide. And high tide talks about the golden spiral, first of all. And so you see the beautiful tides coming into that lovely little alcove, and how it can seem really chaotic when the water moves into those spaces. For those of you who are local, the bufadora, and seeing the water crashing into that alcove. But I swore that whenever spirals showed up, I would talk about this shell, the gift of this shell, to honor Doug, my lovely friend Doug. So the golden spiral talks about the perfectness of creation, that everything is designed even to the most minute structures, our atoms, right? The physical atoms, that everything has plan and perfection to it. So there is nothing that falls out of that perfection. So when things happen, they happen for you, not to you. That's the message of the golden spiral. So even in the high tide message of that sacred geometry today, that talks about the perfection, the design of the plan, that even in the chaos, there is great structure, that everything is intricately chosen and planned. And so this shell was gifted to me by my lovely friend Doug, who harvested this from the heart of Yarmany. And Yarmany is a mountain range in Colorado. And it was named after an Indian chief. And it's a very untapped space of mountain range, the heart of Yarmany. There's no trails in. He had to actually bushwhack his way into the heart of Yarmany and brave mountain lions. He slept out under the elements with his firearm on his chest. But when he got in there, there were these shells, millions of years old, these shells there in the heart of Yarmany. And he decided to pick one up and take it back for me. And just the whole story of it is so exciting, right? Like the explorer coming into uncharted space and then finding seashells in the top of a mountain range. I mean, all of that is like magical. But he really raised the bar on that thoughtfulness. And he is a friend, a beautiful friend. But to have that kind of thoughtfulness for a friend really helps you put things into perspective. What kind of treatment do you accept outside of that? And why do we let those closest to us not treat us so thoughtfully sometimes? And so I love the whole message of that, and it will always stay on my altar, the sacred space, and I will always talk about that every time the spiral comes up, because that was very moving for me. As a gift, it's phenomenal. So anyhow, the high tide brings in the message of extreme tumultuous change, and that even though it feels like you are completely being swept away, know that this was designed by you for you, and that if you instead learn how to ride that instead of bracing yourself or resisting it, you can actually be lifted into a higher breathing space of those waves instead of being drug under and pulled in that undertow. So be aware of that energy moving through you, especially today, because remember, this is current for the day. So if it resonates with you, it's for you. If it does not, it's not. And so the high tide, talking about that tumultuous shift and change, really ride that. Don't resist it, but observe it, because it was designed for and by you. And so thunder talks about that same tumultuous change, but it says it will be so thunderous and powerful, it'll feel like a stampede of wild bison. And so if you think about like this tsunami and a whole herd of wild bison, you can't hold that back. It cannot be resisted, and it cannot be slowed, and it cannot be changed. And so your only option then becomes, okay, I'm gonna ride with it. Jump on the back of one of the bison. And I don't know how many of you, so I grew up Newark, New Jersey, and we used to, so the Atlantic is very different than the Pacific Ocean, but we would ride the waves. So as soon as we would see enough froth of a bigger wave, literally lay yourself out belly first, like creating snow angels, but face down. And the wave would literally carry you like this mermaid. And that's how I would always feel. And it literally would like lift you and just carry you. And so if you can picture that in your mind, allowing it to just carry you to the shore, that's how we should experience the human experience. Like, even when it seems completely out of control and tumultuous and like thunderous, just say, all right, I'm going with it. Take me with you. And just surrender. We are our most powerful selves in surrender. So when you resist and feign control, you actually disempower yourself. You actually lose power. And so the tool, because these are the energies of today, the tool to use to help embody that power is the leadership, the sunstone. And leadership does not talk about being bossy. It doesn't talk about wielding that power over anyone else. It actually talks about recognizing that when you are aligned, that there's no one else that can do what you do, that you are completely unique in your own magnificence. And even though it may seem like someone else is doing what you're doing, they are not. And so there is no, and we've been talking about this, and so I love that this came up again. I've been talking about this actually for the past 2 weeks. I think the same message has been coming up a lot. There are no comparisons or competition. When you completely align, there's no one doing what you do, how you do. So leadership talks about recognizing that there's a space you need to fill, that there's a position, there is an open position in the consciousness, and you are the only one qualified for it. So it's you saying, okay, I'll do this. So think of us being in shipwreck, right? This big tsunami comes, we're in a shipwreck, and then they're like, who can do this? Right? The universe is saying, who can do this? And then you saying, whoa, that's actually like what I'm passionate about and what I do. Awesome, come here, let's do this. Okay, spot filled, next. And so you have to do that. We are cogs in the wheel, and when we completely align, then we all get to be that perfect cog, and the wheel actually will then get to turn. That's unity consciousness. That we all are one, but we recognize that in our uniqueness, there's a specific position that needs to be filled. And so you can't compare yourself to someone else, and you can't say they're doing it better than me, because they're not doing what you're doing. So even if it looks like it, it's not, right? And so just feel into that. Like, okay, perfect example. I started doing the cards probably more than a year ago, and I heard from Spirit, I need to start pulling for the collective. And I don't normally use cards in my private sessions unless I'm asked, or sometimes if I feel that they're on the fence with setting an intention for breath work, I'll pull a card. But what I started doing these spreads, and there were other people that started doing them, and I had actually more than just a couple people saying, this person's doing it, and it feels weird to me, like they're trying to be you, but they're not. And I was actually very glad, because that was them honoring their intuition and pull. And so their practice is different than mine. They're not doing what I'm doing. It looks like it, but they're not. And do I feel threatened by it? Of course not. Do I feel competitive for that? Of course not. And I am actually happy that everyone's falling into place. And so these are things that people are scared to share, because it can come off as woo-woo or taboo, or people tend to judge these things. And the cards become an extension of you. So me being an oracle, these cards are an extension of Spirit through me. So Spirit's going to talk differently through me than through someone else, of course. But what's fucking awesome is that when they get literally synchronistic messages for the collective, it is so beautiful, because it shows the cohesiveness of the connectedness of all of us as one. I love that. So I love being a witness to that, to the synchronicity of our connectedness. I love that. And that's like the electricity that moves through all of us as a pulse, as a one, as a unity consciousness. And we create that frequency that is like the domino effect that becomes that tidal wave for the rest of the consciousness that is still really kind of lost. So I find it to be beautiful and inspiring. I don't find it to be even comparing or competition. I love that. So the Sunstone will help you step into the power that you need to recognize, oh, wow, okay, there's this posted position, and really I'm the only one that can do it. I am qualified, I'll do it. So it helps you to stop second guessing that energy, so you can step in and do what you need to do. And so Totemic Puma, the power awakening, just echoes that sentiment. It's saying you will be endowed with this power, the power to recognize that your purpose here is unique and your path is unique. So even though you are sharing a path with others, when you start aligning the circling of souls, others will feel like you and look like you, but none of you are you. But you get to witness all of the beautiful parts of you outside of yourself. That's the beauty. We are all one. We are one. And so when you start to become aligned, your experiences are more harmonious. And the people that you start witnessing and seeing outside of yourself, it's actually mirroring back those beautiful parts of yourself, because you are loving yourself to a greater extent and you are honoring yourself in a deeper way. And so, of course, it's going to start to write those energies. And so if you are feeling some kind of way, if something shows up in your reality and you are pulled to deep emotion or feeling threatened, then that's something that you need to heal in you. That has nothing to do with that other person. That has everything to do with you. Why am I feeling threatened? Why am I feeling any kind of competitiveness with this? And what do I need to heal in myself? What part of me still feels traumatized? So move through that energy and really own your power, right? And step in and say, okay, I know I'm the only one qualified to do this. I'll do this. And move through those powerful energies. Don't resist them. Ride the wave. Jump on the back of the bison. Feel that thunderous power beneath your feet. Do it. I love you. And thank you for sharing your most valuable commodity with me, your energy and your time. Thank you for spending that currency on me and with me. I love you. And I am sorry for any disharmony that I myself have created. Please forgive me. Thank you for this opportunity. I love you. I love you. I love you.